the idea of eternal damnation is not a Jewish concept. It's not a Torah concept. That the idea of hell, I mean, I think that the cultural construct of hell is very much a pastiche of images that, come all the way from the ancient world in terms of its sense of demons and the netherworlds and hellfire and these kinds of things. And a lot of it's not rooted really in anything. Um, the first thing that we have to understand is when the Torah says "Ein od milvado," that there is no one else but God. That means that the basic duality between good and evil that you see in other religions is is an illusion. That Hashem is entirely good, and everything that He does is good. And even though things appear to us as if they belong to two separate categories, everything is ultimately orchestrated by Hashem. You can't have an angel that rebels and like, now he makes his own franchise. That doesn't work. We also know that let's say what is called Gilui Yichud, that the revelation of the unity of God, or the revelation of the covet, of the glory of God in the world, can happen in one of two ways. Either through reward given to the righteous or punishment given to the wicked. Meaning to say that either one of those two things results in a sanctification of God's name. When when people who do good are rewarded, and also when people who do evil are served justice. Both of these things sanctify the name of God. Meaning to say that either direction that you go in, you arrive at the same result. Okay. So um there's no duality here. If there's going to be some form of post-mortem punishment for a person, it's not just to torture a person forever. We have a concept that is, I guess, closer to, I think, what is called purgatory. Why is it called purgatory? Because when a person goes through that, they are purged of the damage that they have brought upon themselves in this lifetime. So there is a period of time that a person, let's say, God forbid, would have to spend in that kind of a state. But ultimately, it's to, when if you ever watch these restoration, you can really go down like a YouTube rabbit hole looking at people restoring old motorbikes and guns from 1927, these kind of things. And they're always 30 minutes long, and you're like, I'll put this on 2x because I'm just gonna get fired if I keep watching this. But you can't stop because there's something about watching something be made new again. I think that speaks to a very deep part of us. Okay. So even the process of punishment of any kind, whether it is within this world or in the next world, is to bring us back to a pristine state. Not to have somebody, you know, not to have somebody with horns and a pitchfork, just pitchforking you for all eternity. What would be the point in that? There's nothing other than God. So everything is there to bring us back to God. Um, which is why, there's in Psalms in chapter 139, it says, Im esak shamayim sham ata, if I ascend to the heights of heavens, you are there. V'yatzia sheol hineka, and if I make my bed in hell, there you are. You can find Hashem everywhere, in the highest heights or the lowest depths. The idea is that there's no place that you're not in a zone. You know, when I was a kid, like in the 80s, you used to go to the mall, The arcade was always this like really seedy place because the lighting was very low. Because otherwise, those gigantic cabinet arcade games, like it would be harder to see them. But also like you just felt like it just felt kind of like you were cut off from the world of light. You'd go back outside after you're finished and almost get blinded because it was still sunny outside, but you'd been in this like den. And I think the way good and evil is portrayed in this world is that like somehow if you're like in a bad neighborhood or if you're with bad people or if you're in a bad situation, like that's not where God is. God is over there with you know wispy looking angels with halos and stuff. But over here, where the music is a bit too loud and there's a lot of graffiti, like well, there's no God over there. Well, that's not true.
Mm.
Hashem is absolutely everywhere, and our job is to uncover Him in all circumstances. So again, even a concept of purgatory, of what we call Gehenna, let's say, right? It's ultimately there to bring you close to Hashem again.